Hi there, everyone. I hope you're all doing good. I hope the weekend was awesome, and I hope you're ready for a brand new week full of opportunities. We're going to look into it now and see what the energy is going to be like for the week ahead. I also just want to remind you that this coming Thursday is the last energy sessions I'm doing for this year. Okay, I am going to go on leave as from the 22nd. If you do need anything urgently during that time, I'm going to take emergency bookings only. There's a bit of an extra charge for that because I'm on holiday, which I'm sure is understandable. And yes, this week, this Thursday, is the last energy session. It's the last full moon of this year, full moon in Gemini, and pretty interesting. But it will be the last energy session I do this year. So please get in on that if you want to do one last one for the year, because that will be it until January again, unless with special prior arrangement. All right, so let's jump into the reading. Today we're going to be using The Goddesses and Sirens by Stacey DeMarco, illustrated by Jimmy Manton. And this deck of cards is as old as the hills. This is what I think the first deck of cards I ever got when I first started doing readings a very long time ago. So they're good old friends of mine, and we're going to use them today to look at what we can expect for the week ahead. Okay, so Goddesses and Sirens. And it doesn't matter that it's a predominantly feminine kind of energy. There are messages here for everybody. I've used this for just about everyone, and they really work beautifully. Okay, so we're going to ask, what do we need to know most importantly this week? And also, is there any energy around us that we have to be really cognizant of? Obviously, we've got this full moon in Gemini coming up, which is the twins, the dualities. I posted something about that earlier in the week. I think this weekend, that was done by Moon Omens, who are very good astrologers, and I've been following them for a couple of years. And there was a beautiful talk on exactly what that Gemini energy means. It was a bit of a lengthy talk, so I can't blame anybody for not making it through the whole thing, but it will give you the gist of the actual energy you're dealing with, especially if you do want to set a specific intention on Thursday for the last full moon. Okay, so without further ado, let's ask, can we please know what energy we need to know about this week, or what action we need to take, whatever it is that's most important for us to know right now, please. There's the first one. Sekhmet, reduction. Okay. All right, let me get her a little bit closer. Hopefully we don't have focus issues today. That usually happens to me. There we go. Absolutely beautiful, these cards. Really, I can't get over it. It doesn't matter how long I've had them or how much I look at them. So Sekhmet is all about reduction. This is about reducing certain things in your life, simplifying things, narrowing your choices down. And sometimes reduction means that certain things or people are removed from our lives. So you could maybe finish working at a particular job and think, what do I do now? And maybe you don't find a job for the first 2 weeks, but you needed that 2-week break. Okay. It could also show the end of some kind of a relationship, a friendship, anything that comes to the end of a cycle. Or also, for a lot of people, it could be that you are multitasking too much. Quite interesting, the Gemini moon talk was talking about this. We're in a mindset of multitasking all the time, which is so counterproductive. We were brainwashed into thinking multitasking is a good thing and it's an attribute and something to be proud of. Meantime, it actually scatters our energy, it scatters our thoughts, it overwhelms our minds, and it stops us from being present with the people that we are talking to, that whatever we've got in front of us. I mean, we watch YouTube videos and we're scrolling through the next videos that we can save, or talking to somebody but actually looking on our phones. We're not present. And that is a very real problem. So this is talking about reduction. It's about, if there's a lot going on, trying to reduce that. Okay, trying to focus it, narrow it down, and keep your focus in one place. And a lot of the time when that's happening to you in your life and it's not voluntary, okay, it's external circumstances, it's because there's too much going on and you need that to be toned down. Okay, it's a good thing. Reduction is a good thing. So I just want to make reference to the book. There's always one little paragraph that I like to look at with regards to this particular deck of cards. And I like to read from the book. Okay, let me just show you this book. This is how old this poor thing is and how hard it has worked. I have to honor this poor book because it really is. It's seen some work and it has really done its dues here. So let me just find it. Here we go. Allow what you no longer need to be destroyed or reduced. You are invited to build your emotional authenticity. You are protected in expressing your true emotions in appropriate ways. Okay, so that might be necessary. You might need to be very honest with somebody and lay the cards on the table, so to speak, to get your point across about something that's going on, a relationship you can't continue, or a job you can't continue, or something that you can't tolerate anymore. It's got to be reduced in your life for your own good. Allow yourself to do that. Allow yourself to be honest with yourself and honest with others. If you speak from the heart and you do it in a gentle and loving way wherever you can, things will always work out in a positive way for you. Okay. She also says here, with an echoing of her roar and her lion's head, she steps into your life, asking you to burn away what it is you do not need. A healthy release of emotions that may have negative connotations but are not actually to be judged as negative, like anger, is assisted by her fierce yet compassionate energy. By surrendering what you no longer wish to possess to her cleansing fires, you will free yourself and be more able to move forward with ease. All right. Okay, let's see what else we got. What else do we need to know, please, this week? What other energies are around? What advice do we need? Oh, there's two. Okay. Boudica. Okay. It looks like a bit of an oxymoron when I tell you reduction and unity at the same time. Equality. Lilith. All right, I want to see, I feel like there's a fourth card that I need to have. What is the other one, please? There we go. Ah. Okay. We have 5 here now, so we're going to have to squish them up so everybody can fit. Let's see. There we go. All right. So I'm just taking a second to have a look at these. Okay. This reduction and all of these together, actually, this is talking about a complicated situation. I feel like some people are dealing with a situation that's just really not cut and dry, and there are these necessities to be narrowing things down in terms of maybe how much you take on yourself, the amount of energy you expend on certain things that maybe aren't your problem, or things you're taking responsibility for that aren't really your responsibility. I feel like in some cases it's important to delegate or work with other people to kind of pass that on to them if they've become too dependent on you. In some cases we want to help, we want to do for others, but enabling somebody is a different story. So we can enable somebody by doing things for them until we actually disable them, and that is a very unhealthy situation to be in. So I feel as if to some extent this might be occurring for some people, and the balance needs to be restored. Okay, this could be in a husband and wife situation, because the story of Lilith and Adam. Lilith was, in some stories, I don't want to step on any toes, but in some stories she was the first wife of Adam, and because she wouldn't lay beneath him, she wanted to lay beside him or be equal in so many ways. Basically, things didn't work out very well between them, and Lilith was sent away, and then Eve was created to replace Lilith. Okay, so like I said, I don't want to step on any toes. That is the story according to certain pantheons, but that is always, what I always say, like, even if you don't believe in angels or whatever the case is, the moral of the story or the archetype or the message is still the same and it's still relevant. Okay, so this is talking about equality, making sure that you stand up for yourself, reduce things that are taking up too much of your energy, that are making you feel overwhelmed. All right, and I feel like this needs to be done in a peaceful way. As I said in the beginning, sorry if there's a lot of noise, we're just suddenly having a nice thunderstorm. As I said in the beginning, there is this need to express yourself truthfully, but in a kind and gentle way. If you always speak your truth with love, it will turn out in a positive manner. Okay, so I feel like this might have to do with certain things you feel obligated to do, maybe commitments you have in your life. But just like Hera, she had to look where her commitments were misplaced, where she kept forgiving Zeus for always being, you know, unfaithful to her, and wherever she looked, left, right, and center, she was just turning a blind eye to certain things. And she needed to see that her commitment to him was not returned. And in some way, she was throwing that energy down a dark hole where she wasn't going to get it back. Okay, and we sometimes do that to ourselves. So that's not really the ideal practice that you want in your life. It's not something that is fulfilling. It's not something that is nourishing and good for you. It's actually the complete opposite. Okay. You might even have someone who can support you in this. When I look at Boudica, she is about teamwork. Okay. She shows that there can be victory, there can be a positive outcome if you work together with somebody else or if there's a partnership. So I think that better than like going it alone, it's always good to try to work on those things. Okay, if you did have a partnership with somebody and there has this, this imbalance has come along, maybe you need to say to them, hey, you know what, I'm doing more than you're doing. I don't think this is a fair situation, whatever the case is. And, maybe you have made a commitment of some sort, but it's been taken to the next level and you find yourself in an imbalance in this particular relationship. Okay, so it could be a partnership of some sort. It could be your business partner, whatever the case is. This is about synergy. It's about delegating. It's about putting things back into perspective, balancing the scales a bit more. If you've this can happen at any given time. You could have a business partner that got ill and you took on most of the responsibility while they weren't well, and they've come back to work, they've recovered, but you're still doing all of that stuff. Okay, we can find ourselves in that situation very often, and it's like a frog in a pot where the water's getting hotter and hotter and hotter, but we don't really notice because it's gradual. All right, so this is about bringing this back into balance and removing that excess that actually makes us feel overwhelmed and heavy and um, just weighed down. And we're wondering why we can't get to everything. We can't get to the tasks that really are meaningful. And we're trying to multitask again, and that is just not being as effective as it could be because you're not being mindful and present. Okay. Here in the book it says Boudica has become a siren symbol of unity and revolution. Her energy has been adopted by everyone from Queen Victoria, who had a statue made in her honor, to numerous painting, books, movies, and television series. When you feel downtrodden, a victim, or injustice, or that you can't possibly win, call upon this kind of energy to assist you. Okay, she never ever gave up. That was the other thing, and she always found a way to make it work. Let's see what Lilith has to say. An equal partnership in love or business is a positive goal. Your personal power may be challenged. Recognize the need for a balance of sexual power also in your body and in your relationships. Not surprising, Lilith has become somewhat of a feminist icon in modern times and a much loved symbol of the feminine divine in many occult traditions. Lilith is seen as a powerful force for equality between masculine and feminine and for women to assert justice filled power. In much of Western society, some women do not receive equal pay for equal work or are misrepresented in numbers in government and in the boardroom. In third world countries, they're often the ones who suffer most from food shortages, because they give what they have to their children and they have high death rates due to maternal mortality. Okay, so she's encouraging us to stand strong, to bring our own part in being assertive and saying, you know what, I don't feel like I'm being treated fairly. And I don't want this to be misrepresented, please, because it goes on to YouTube and I know everybody has an opinion. I'm not picking sides. I'm not being a feminine activist. I don't 100% support the whole concept of toxic masculinity. I think both of them have actually been blown out of proportion. And I don't think being an extremist in any case whatsoever, in any belief system or any political mindset, is a good thing. I think extremists are the ones who actually, push things out of perspective. So please, I'm not taking any sides here. Let's be all about being equal, okay, balancing things out. But certain people may be in this predicament. They may find themselves in this kind of circumstance. You could be a male and experiencing that with toxic femininity. Okay, it really does happen. I've met many people in my life who are experiencing things like that. So please don't put words in my mouth. Don't misconstrue the message. The message is from spirit, and it's saying whatever your situation is, whether you're male or female, you need to bring this balance in. You need to balance the scales for yourself, because whoever we're talking about here, whoever's receiving this message, is going through this right now. It doesn't matter who they are. All right, there's something that needs to be brought back into balance. It needs to be brought back in a peaceful way as well. The White Buffalo Woman story talks about White Buffalo Woman appearing at the top of the hill, and one of these scouts spotting her and lusting after her and running up to her and thinking he can do what he likes, and she actually turns him to ashes. And then the second scout that was with him approaches her carefully and gently and with reverence and says, I'm really sorry about the way he behaved. And White Buffalo Woman says to him, that's fine. I've come to deliver a message and I've come here to bless you. Okay? And I want you to live in peace. I need you to connect more deeply with the earth and not be driven by these very primal, low vibration energies. So in the book, this is what it says. Peace. You are encouraged to find a more peaceful and connected way to live. A regular spiritual practice will transform you for the better. Connect more deeply with your own rituals of peace. If White Buffalo Woman walks into your life, she's urging you to begin to develop processes and rituals to bring peace into your life. Peace of mind matters. Without it, we do not function at our best. Peace permeates all things, not just between people, but between people and the earth and its creatures. There is a prophecy connected to White Buffalo Woman's mythos that is minded by the current Lakota. It states that when 4 white buffaloes have been born, then the original earth-honoring practices will return and the earth will be able to be saved. I actually watched something very interesting. I was watching a YouTube channel that I regularly watch that was covering all the indigenous tribes of America, and that he went and he visited the Lakotas where they are now, and he visited the Crows and all the different tribes, and it was so interesting to see how people live and how they actually interact with each other and how different they all are. We put them all under the same umbrella, but they are individuals, and how they do very much revere the earth, and they're waiting for people to return back to who they are, and I thought that was quite beautiful. So yes. Okay, last but not least, we have Hera, and I did speak about her a bit with regards to how she misappropriated her trust and her energy and her commitment, how she was so blind about it, blindly committed to Zeus, which didn't really serve her. And here it says, re-examine your loyalties or your commitments and see if they are still warranted. A marriage of some kind is spotlighted. Petty jealousies must be put aside for the greater good. Hera was jealous of Zeus's giving birth to Athena without recourse to her. So she gave birth to Hephaestus without him. Hera then disguised Hephaestus's ugliness and threw him from Mount Olympus. In an alternate version, she alone produced all of her children, usually credited to her union with Zeus by beating her hand on the earth and solemnizing action for the Greeks. Sadly, she is remembered mostly for her jealousies and her plots, when originally she was admired for her commitment through adversity. Okay, but you need to check sometimes when, how that is appropriated at least. Sorry. Here it also says Hera also seemed to have a blind spot at times when it came to dealing with Zeus and his lack of commitment and blamed the other party. One could say that she did not reassess the situation after a repetitive negative pattern emerged, and so she allowed this behavior to continue. All right, you might be allowing a repetitive negative pattern to continue. You need to see where that is. You need to stand up and know that you're supported in speaking up about it and bringing that equality back. Okay, don't separate and isolate yourself, but try to work with somebody in a peaceful way to resolve the issue. I sincerely hope that you do find this peace and this resolution, and I wish you all a beautiful week further. Take care. Bye for now.